Well, I've just had a meeting, a breakfast appointment this morning at a well-known grouping of business leaders. And what they do is they allow somebody to come in that's had a very successful track record to talk about how they raised money. Well, this particular one was related to a fundraiser which was done on Kickstarter, and the man took an interesting approach, because how often do people that are potential inventors keep the game close to their chest by not getting by not letting the idea out. But they don't realize that it's very, very important in this day and age to get the idea out as quickly as you possibly can. It's very, very, very important to get to market as fast as possible. The gentleman was Andrew Hagen at Cyclic, and it was an Innovation Bay breakfast. And what I was astounded by was that the approach that he took was a very mature approach. One of the questions I asked was, in terms of intellectual property, what kind of registrations did he have done before getting his idea to market? And he basically said, not really, not much. All we did was just started the process, got into the manufacturing stage, raised the money through Kickstarter, and try to get ourselves out as quickly as possible, which made a lot of sense. Obviously, at this stage, the idea being get yourself registered and protected as quickly as you possibly can as well in the meantime, because Alexander Graham Bell was not the first person to invent the telephone, but he was the first person to register it. So that little caveat stays in place. However, what I've discovered is really interesting is that people don't necessarily go straight to market. They don't go straight to generating income or the funds. What they do is they go into protection mode. So they try to protect themselves as much as possible. So they register patents, they register trademarks, service marks, and all of those things cost a lot of money. And for the most part, patents are very contestable, they're very challengeable, and claims made in those particular patent forms tend to be very easy to circumnavigate. And they spend so much time in the protection process because they don't want anybody to know about their idea, etc., that they actually lose out. That's not legal advice, by the way. That's just something that you read about on the internet every single day. And I guess where I'm coming from is that, as much as possible, follow Andrew Hagen's advice, a very mature approach, which is start manufacturing, get it out there. Of course, do the numbers. Of course, make sure that you are intelligent with your business rollout. But at the same time, don't get to a stage where you are, limiting yourself from taking action. Not taking action can really work against you. So move forward. In the world of business, get things out there as fast as possible. Get the buying market to purchase, because ultimately cash flow is absolutely vital. So that was a great little business meeting, and lots of lessons were learned by all business people attending. What I found was really interesting, though, is that for the most part, people don't always realize that you can iron out things as you go on. As you do things, you can iron out the details later. don't allow little things to become stumbling blocks. Another thing that's also very interesting is, and it's common of all disruptor technologies like Uber and like Uber and Airbnb and even Google as an example. But what I'm finding is that people have only now started to realize that getting to market as quickly as possible is the absolutely most vital aspect of the process. So I'm just saying, for instance, like with Germany as an example, be in that state where, for instance, in Germany they don't allow cameras of any kind in public. And what makes it fascinating, of course, is that people are still buying the product in Germany. So, you'll find that the law must just catch up in terms of these disruptive technologies. That's really what happens. So, a little bit more about this later.